Governor, I want to ask you about your intervention in the case of Elijah McClain, and I want to review some of this information for the audience so they'll understand what we're talking about here. This was a case that began on August 24th, 2019, last summer, when 23-year-old Elijah McClain was walking home in Aurora, Colorado. He was wearing a ski mask. His family says he was anemic, and sometimes he wore that mask to keep warm. Someone who saw him walking home, there he is in the store before he was walking home, called 911 to say that he looked sketchy. 3 police officers responded to the call. The body camera footage you're seeing here shows an officer confronting Elijah McClain, telling him to stop. Elijah McClain says he has a right to continue walking home. The officer says he has a right to stop him because he looks sketchy. There is a brief struggle there that the camera captures, and then Elijah McClain is on the ground in a chokehold. He vomits. He tells the officers he can't breathe.
Stop. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. I can't breathe correctly because...
Paramedics arrive and inject Elijah McClain with a sedative. He goes into cardiac arrest on the way to the hospital. 3 days later, Elijah McClain was declared brain dead and taken off life support. The officers were placed on administrative leave but have since been reinstated. 3 million people signed a petition calling for a re-examination of the case. And this week, Governor Polis appointed the state's attorney general as a special prosecutor. Governor, what changed for you in this case over that time that you've decided it should have a special prosecutor?
Sometimes 3 million people are right. Sometimes 3 million people are wrong. In this case, 3 million people and many more who agree that there should be an independent and thorough investigation of the tragic death of Elijah McClain. I mean, this is a young man with no police record, not even accused of any crime, vegetarian, massage therapist, good kid. And he should be with us today, Lawrence. He should still be with us. And we owe it to the people of Colorado, as well as his mother, who I talked to the other day, to make sure that we take every step we can to ensure that those responsible for his death are held accountable in a court of law.
Governor, does this indicate to you that you should perhaps standardize this kind of approach, that in a killing at the hands of police, it should be removed from local jurisdiction and have what is in effect in this special prosecutor?
You know, I'm very proud of the Republicans and Democrats in our legislature. They just worked over the last couple of weeks to bring to my desk a new police reform bill, which I signed last week. It's called Senate Bill 217. It bans chokeholds. That was what was used on Elijah. It has an accountability process for officer-involved killings. No piece of legislation is perfect, but I was so proud that Colorado was able to take this step forward. And Elijah's mother was one of the people who came and gave very powerful testimony about how we can prevent this sort of horrific tragedy from occurring in our state in the future.
When you spoke to Elijah McClain's family about this week, what did they tell you?
You know, what I really wanted to get a sense of, Loris, is what was justice for Elijah in his mother's eyes. We know what it is in the eyes of 3 million people who signed a petition. I know what it is in the eyes of youth activists who I met with and listened to. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's not for people who never knew him to say what justice means. It's for his loved ones and his family. And I wanted to make sure that she was on board with this direction. She was. She wants a thorough, independent investigation, and that's what we're going to do. And if there's somebody that can be brought to a jury for conviction, I'm confident that our Attorney General, Phil Weiser, will do so.